it's no longer the one with the most resources to be able to win. I mean, one of the things we teach in the class, for instance, is the evolution where to where today the consumer is the boss. In the beginning, it was the manufacturer. They were the ones that had the power, they had the scale, and then the distributors, with Walmart being probably the prime example of somebody that was leading it because of their dominance in data and being able to understand what was going on out there in the field. They got the power and accumulated it, and now it's moved to the consumer to be able to find these niche products that people have a passion for and they are willing to engage. It creates a dynamic that's totally different, and it's what the country needs.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. And this is the difficulty that most businesses actually face. They know that they need to change, and actually there's a real disconnect in most businesses because the executives at mid to top level understand that they need to change, but the people actually running the organization or greenlighting the decisions are still fighting the way they used to in the 20th century. And that kind of mindset which exists within most large businesses creates a disconnect, which will take a little bit of time to actually overcome. It even exists within medium-sized businesses. And it's only people who work at a very small level or very small scale or even at an individual level, they actually get the change that's happening and are able to reposition themselves quickly enough to actually take advantage of this. Regardless of that fact, they all face the same problem, which is time. Because you don't go into business in order to become a social media engager or a publisher of content or a photographer of photographs or a meme creator. And these are all activities which you actually have to learn to engage on the web. And this is where it becomes really new and scary because it feels like it's completely outside your control. You think it's completely outside your skill set. In most cases, it's also outside your knowledge and you're not sure what you're doing. But in terms of businesses, we always been able to engage in activities in the past which had a very specific goal. And any kind of business is good in creating a line of reasoning which starts off with an activity which is supposed to have an intent, and then it has some kind of assessment which allows you to determine the return on the investment of time that you actually engaged in. Now these questions don't change. So essentially any kind of business engaging digitally today and trying to become very personal and very personable and very socially engaging still has to go back to those basic questions. It has to say, what do I do? How do I do it? How do I test it? So I can see what results I get. And if you're not able to actually work out that kind of process, then you are basically wasting time and possibly money. So really, you need to have those three different separate questions linked into a chain, which allows you to assess how effective you are on the web and what do you do, how do you do it, and how do you test this.